Hey there, Neil Davidson from Hope Chapel here. It is Wednesday, May the 27th, and it's time for Wednesday's Word. And since we're going to be regathering this week, or at least beginning the journey of getting back to regathering normally, I wanted to just do a little bit of a video for what you to expect. And first of all, I want to start out by saying, as we've been saying all the way along, if now is not the right time for you to regather with us, that's fine, right? If you show up and you're uncomfortable, you're concerned or whatever, you're not going to be worshiping anyways. So if you're in a high risk category or anything like that, or it's just not the right time for you, you got family dynamics going on or whatever, we want you to know that you should just stay home, join us on Sunday morning. It's Sunday morning live at 9 o'clock, and we're going to continue to do what we've always been doing all the way along. Reminder, it's not a blemish on your faith or anything else like that. But I did want you to give you kind of a preview for what you're going to experience, because it's going to be different. So if you think you're ready to regather with us, and we'd love to see you, even if it's just seeing half a face instead of a full face, we really would love for you to come, right? And part of the objective of this is, one, you know what to expect. Secondly, why you would understand we need you to sign up in advance so we know how many are coming, so we can optimize our seating, as well as a reason for you to get here a little extra early so we can do all of this. Again, quick reminder, our spirit in all of this is loving our neighbor. So we're going a little bit on the second mile on a few things. We expect you to understand. It's also, if you can't wear a mask and those kinds of things, we ask you out of a love for neighbor just to stay home. And if you are here, to wear a face mask and to physically distance. We don't really want to socially distance, but we do want to physically distance. So you're going to arrive in our parking lot. We're not going to show you a picture of that, but we're going to use our sidewalk here out to the right side of our building as our staging line, right? Each of the crevices in the cement is 6 feet apart, and we'll have the cones out. And so you'll line up as a family group. If you came by yourself, if you're with others, and so the line will form and you'll make your way down here. So you notice I'm not wearing a mask, and that's because Christina's holding the camera, so I don't need to physically distance from her. So as you come up, the last starting point will be here, and then as you are called forward, you'll come to our greeting station. Our ushers have been trained and are being trained. They will greet you here. They will take your name and check you off the list, so that'll help us maintain an account of how many people are actually inside so we can do this safely. You notice that there's face masks that are available, and we are using a liquid hand sanitizer that meets all the requirements, and you're welcome to use it and take a shot. And these will be available inside the building in a lot of different places. We're also going to be taking your temperature. We have some infrared thermometers that we have bought, and we'll be taking our temperature just again as an effort to go the second mile to make sure we're being really concerned. So, if you happen to test a little high and you are running to get here and this and that, or it's a hot day or whatever, we're obviously going to work with it. But in general, if you're running a temperature above 100, we're going to try to help you cool down a little bit before you get in, that kind of thing. Again, just out of an abundance of caution, motivated by our love for neighbor. So once you're ready to proceed in, we'll come in. We're trying to do all of the traffic one way, which helps us with the physical distancing that we need to do. So we've actually roped off, stanchioned off, if you will, our lobby, and you'll make your way along this way to the entrance door to the sanctuary that we're using. Again, another station for hand sanitizer if that's appropriate. When you get here, as you'll see, there's a sign here, you're going to be greeted by an usher. This usher's responsibility will be to guide you to where you're going to sit, and we're going to try to figure out this as much as we can beforehand so that we can optimize the number of people that we can get into our sanctuary and still be able to physically distance. So I'll have our lovely camera woman follow me into our sanctuary, which you're going to know is going to be significantly different, right? First of all, you'll notice we've taken out all of the fabric chairs, right? And we've brought in the plastic chairs. The reason we've done that is because they're a lot easier for us to disinfect and to be sure that we have disinfected them. We've also spaced them out to meet the requirements of the 6 feet for social distancing, the physical distancing that we're trying to do. And so, we'll probably be breaking these up just a little bit to accommodate a few more people, spreading them out this way or the other. But this is where we're going to have our worship experience. This will also kind of is an indication of why we only will be able to have 85 to 90 people here. You can go down this way, Christina, right? So I did want to say a word about our services. So they're going to be on Saturday night at 6, Sunday morning at 9, which will also be our Sunday morning live experience, and they'll also be at 11 o'clock on Sunday. And registrations, and you can tell why we need this now, registrations are already active. We do plan to turn those off on probably Saturday morning, or at least by mid-morning. We haven't exactly decided yet, so really sign up by Friday night if you can, because we need to look at the counts and begin to place people. It's kind of like seating people for a wedding, right? We got to get everybody in. So we need to know that you're coming and that kind of thing. So and how many are coming with you, and all that is, you can go right to our website and just click on the ticket, and you don't have to have a ticket per se, but we do need to have you on the list. But I'm going to start a series this week on the book of Esther, which is really kind of a bucket list thing for me as a pastor, because I've never preached a series out of the book of Esther before. And Esther is really an interesting book, in some ways a very troubling book, and I'll point out some of that stuff as we go through, because there's certainly some worldviews that are in the book that are really troubling, especially to us in the 21st century. And it shows just what impact Christianity has had on our worldview and the way we see people and the way we see life. But it's interesting because in the book of Esther, God delivers his people, but he's never mentioned. He uses his people, right? He uses his people to deliver his people. And so there's a wonderful statement in here by one of the main characters, and I'll introduce him this week. His name is Mordecai, and he's speaking to Esther, who is now the queen. And he makes this statement in chapter 4, verse 14. He says, "Who knows, perhaps you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." And what a great thing. We're going to be looking at this under the idea of made for this moment. That we, as a part of God's royal household, are here in this place, in this time, made for this moment so that God could use us to bring deliverance. And what he's doing may not be forefront for everybody to see, but that doesn't mean God's not delivering through his people. We'll be exploring that theme as we go forward through the service. So it should be really great. So if you're looking for a little homework to do, just start reading in the book of Esther, and you'll have lots of questions and that kind of stuff. And maybe some point along the way, we'll take all your questions in addition to the sermons that I'm going to be preaching. Now, when the service is over, we're going to dismiss you by rows, starting from the kids' wing side, from the back, and working our way out. And the reason why we're doing that is, again, so you don't have to cross paths with people as you leave, right? Any kind of fellowship you want to have can be done outside, socially distant, and etc. But we want to get you out of the building safely. Especially on Sunday morning, we're going to need to do so quickly because we're going to continue to need to clean the entire building before we let folks back in again, right? So as you make your way out, you're going to come back to our lobby. You're going to see, again, it's one way, the way you're going to be going. We are just going to be using the 2 bathrooms in the children's wing because it's easier for us to maintain the whole disinfecting process with those. The one in the hallway will be for the men, and the one off of the large kids' room will be for women. And we should be fine. We're certainly going to have fewer people in the building, so we should have plenty of capacity for that. As you make your way out, we do have a table set up. If you need a Bible, again, a reminder, bring your own Bible because we're not going to be able to have Bibles in the chairs because of the cross contact that can go on. We're going to have gifts. If you're a guest or if you happen to bring a guest with you, make sure you grab one, give one away, that kind of idea. Some of you still prefer to give your offering in person. And so we will have an offering place for you to place your offering in. Many of you are giving online. Thank you. We're hanging in there. We're not meeting all of budget, but we're very close. Grateful for your faithfulness. We'd love for you to kind of step up just a little bit more and let this be one of these moments where we meet our goal, this challenge that God's given us financially, so it can just be a testimony across the board. You can also, if you have prayer needs, you can bring your own paper, write a prayer need, drop it in here as well. We'll process it like we normally do, and then you'll make your way back outside, and And at this point in time, you'll quote unquote be in a position where you can take your mask off and visit with folks if you'd like to outside, as long as you are socially distancing. We really do want to set a great example for our community, right? We want to do this well, reflecting who God is and the excellence that he's called us to. It's going to be great to see some of you this weekend, even if it's only to see half a face, as some of it's buried behind a mask. For those of you who have to join us behind home, know that we love you just as much as all those who are going to be able to come. And, we're going to get through this together because we're the family of God. God has bound us together with His Spirit. We are brothers and sisters in Christ. We are part of His family. And God's going to use these moments to shine His light brightly through us. So God bless. Sign up if you're coming. Get here early. For those of you going to join us online, we'll see you on Sunday morning. Take care. Be well. Be filled.